What's up, YouTube fam? Clint Lund, London Mex, and I'm back today, guys. And no, we are not working on that new General Tso chicken GPX 450. No. Those videos are coming for you that specifically subscribe to this channel. Because of that, today, boys and girls, we are going to do a couple different things. So, got a lot of really rad stuff to really polish off the last bit of this yx500, because one of the reasons you haven't seen any ride videos or anything like that coming from this bike as well, I'm like terrified that I'm going to break the Kickstarter. It's got so much compression. Well, we got something to fix that. As you guys saw in the last video on the yx500, we burned this tire down to something that's almost street rated. But we made a disaster under our fender, and I don't think that's going to ever be fixed. I just have to get new plastics eventually. But it's a dirt bike, so I'm going to let that one slide. So we got that. I wanted to swap the gearing up, and I'll show you what we got for a sprocket for this thing. We're going to do that all today, and I am going to answer one of the most popular questions I get on social media through Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it is. Why are your comments turned off? And a lot of people kind of speculate that it's me. It's not me. Let's get into that. We'll start working on the bike at the same time, kind of like a dual thing. But I'm excited to get this thing to something that's a little bit more easy on the leg. Show you what I mean. So guys, here is just a little taste of what we have going on today. So reached out to our buddies over at Dirt Tricks. I've used them before on a couple other projects, and I'm so stoked on their quality. It's always just, it's so awesome. They're one of the few sprocket manufacturers that backs it by a 2-year warranty. And what's really cool about it is they're replaced at the sole discretion if any of the following conditions are within, what is it, 4 months of purchase. So if there's any sort of cracking, premature wear that's like excessive, if you lose a tip of a tooth or something like that, you get to hit them up and they're like, yeah, absolutely, we'll send you another one. And if they prematurely wear, or if you're having problems not, within 2 years, they stand behind it and they'll send you another one. Like, what other sprocket's going to do that, guys? And not to mention, but try to get this out in the light here, but the colors that he does on these things, guys, you probably can't even tell. I need to get it on the bike, really. Oh, there's a little bit. Like, he does this really cool treatment to it. He calls it the zirconium treatment. It looks super badass. I guess you can kind of tell up here what we're looking at. Super badass. There we go. Yeah, see how it looks like, it looks expensive. Let's just put it that way, right, guys? It looks so rad, and it's going to tie in nice with the graphics, everything we got on the yx500. Adam Millar, MRE, Millar Racing Engines, he sent me over this thing. He hooked me up really good price on it, and he custom cut a squish to it, so we do need to go get some race gas for this thing after that. But yeah, guys, so you can see that little tiny pinhole there. Well, that goes over to the Decomp, and when you go to start it, you simply just pull this out or push it. I can't remember which way it goes. I guess I'll find out, but I think it's you push it in and it blows it back out. But either way, guys, so we're going to put on our Decomp head today, and then we also have a brand new rear tire. And last but not least, guys, the Yamasaki sweaters are up. Where's my hat? The Yamasaki sweaters are up on the London Mex Teespring channel. Ooh, look at that. Look at it. Says proudly the Yamasaki, and on the back says Yamasaki in Japanese. Like, come on, guys, that's so sick. Paying homage, of course, to our Yamasaki yx500. If you guys are a fan, which I know there's a lot of you guys, wear it with pride. Go check it out at Teespring. There's t-shirts, regular t-shirts, and sweaters available. We are in a little bit of the chilly weather, so I went and said, yeah, let's get a sweater coming. So got my Yamasaki sweater, guys. Like I said, check that out. And as always, you guys crushed it with that Rocky Mountain code. Like each month I'm getting updates from the guys over there. You guys have been using that code, and I keep saying it's a code. It's not a code, it's a link. It's down in the description. It's a Rocky Mountain link. It's my affiliate link. You guys use that link. It saves you a ton of money because Rocky Mountain's like one of the industry leaders when it comes to saving you money with your motorsports. And then not only that, but it gives us a little hat tip to the channel to help provide us with parts like, you know, we got a rear tire here today and stuff like that. But it, you know, Rocky Mountain, they're one of the few internet-based, I guess you could say, retailers of dirt bikes, ATVs, and side-by-side equipment, that so much so that they sponsor a team in Supercross. I mean, Joey Savacci's on it, and he's been ripping lately, but, like, you know, who else does that anymore? No one. Like, Rocky Mountain guys, they're at the forefront of not only supporting our sport, but providing some of the most badass parts, like even these super, or not, but these Dirt Tricks sprockets. These, I was gonna say Super Trick, but these Dirt Trick sprockets are available on RockyMountainATVMC.com. Use that link down below. Save you money, helps the channel out, and meanwhile, guys, it keeps the builds coming. So let's set up a little bit, and we'll get cracking and tearing this thing down. So yeah, let's go. All right, getting the bike torn down a little bit, and now we can talk about the channel, guys. So I think this is mostly in part to the channel's just growing so fast, so quickly, that a lot of you guys out there, and I'm going to generalize, you guys out there, you just don't know the past story with the channel and, you know, my background, where I come from. So long of the short of it is, this channel used to just be how-tos, and the how-tos were great, but it wasn't always that much fun. So what I did was I started just kind of doing a little bit extra. Started featuring, you know, neat little concepts, and doing cool things like a CR500 I had. Basically rescued it from the wrecker, essentially, right? And yeah, long story short, you know, I decided to just do more with the channel, and I didn't have any direction. I didn't have anyone to tell me this is what I need to do, so I kind of just went my own path with it, like a lot of YouTube channels do. And well, I started videoing a lot of racing with my kids. You know, we would go out to tracks, and I made a conscious decision to lose weight. I was at my heaviest about, we'll say 315 pounds. It was around there. Doctor came to me and said, "You're not gonna live long living like this." So made a change, went down from yeah, essentially, you know, 315 down to, I'm now about 215, so about 100 pounds down. Big lifestyle change, changed my eating habits, changed. I did what's called a keto diet. Some of you probably know about it, some of you don't, but I needed a change. I needed to do something different. And so with that came a promise to take better care of my health and start racing again, because I was really, really passionate about racing. I loved it. I was involved in it. I was a pro motocross mechanic for many, many years, and then a pro supercross mechanic to follow that, and I had a blast. I loved doing it. It was some of the better times of my life and some of the hardest times of my life, because some of you may not understand that, you know, supercross, motocross mechanics, it might be a little bit of a stigma, but they don't get paid very much. It's really not an industry where the mechanics are making a ton of money, despite what you may think. They're mechanics, they, you know, typically work almost as hard as a racer in a different way. So for me was getting up, prepping bikes, tearing them down, and only having about like one day in between practice days and race days for myself, and it just became overwhelming. But to go back, I started getting a little too far ahead. To go back, you know, one of the things is I would film my kids. Well, as it happens with dirt biking, it inherently is a dangerous sport. You know, my kids had some wrecks, my youngest one in particular. And one year he broke 2 bones in his arm, his radius and his ulna. The year prior, he did his collarbone, but right after he did his radius and ulna in his arm, he then broke both of his legs. it was a hard year for him, and the video was put on YouTube of my son, you know, both the crash and his recovery. It was to kind of inform the YouTube family that I have here on the channel of what our life is, like the vlogging aspect is, right? So with that obviously came a little bit of a hurdle. Well, YouTube apparently doesn't like kids being shown with their shirts off, which unfortunately, guys, that's just the world we live in. The world we live in, where there's people out there that feel a certain sort of way when they see young men with their t-shirts off. I don't want to get into that, but YouTube disabled the comments on my page because it was to what was happening from these pedophiles, where they would go into these videos and they would timestamp down in the comments. It would put, I don't know if you guys knew, but in your favorite video, you could put the @ symbol, and then, so like if it's 11:20, put 11:20, and then that is someone could click directly on that. It'll be a hot link, and it'll open your video directly to that part. Well, they were time tagging when there was things like little boys with t-shirts off, so other pedophiles can find the videos and find these things that they wanted. Disgusting. And didn't stand for that in my channel exclusively. I mean, I detest that, and that's just putting it lightly. So beyond that, apparently it happened. My channel got timestamp recorded by some filthy degenerate piece of you know what. Felt it necessary to timestamp my video when one of my kids had his shirt off, and then so YouTube disabled my comments because they were afraid that my channel was being used for inappropriate things beyond my control. So when my comments got turned off, I was angry, as you guys can expect. Like I was so furious, because that's a big part of the social networking side of YouTube, is being able to branch out, talk with the people watching the videos, and help them with anything. So I went and opened an Instagram, and the Instagram was basically a comment section for the YouTube. Well, that was fine and dandy, but not everyone that has a YouTube could go over and watch the Instagram video or the Instagram post. Not all of them had Instagram. So now you'll see, after like this video, I'll post a picture of what we worked on, and then I'll say, you know, what are your feelings on this? So I basically, if I create a post, which is really weird, if I create a post on my video, then you guys can comment. But on the videos themselves, you cannot comment, and I have spent endless nights and days arguing with YouTube. I even went as far as to go back into my channel and delete every video that had my kids in them. And some of them were really good videos. And I don't mean good like they, you know, were monetarily supportive of the channel, but they were good, they were wholesome, they're fun to watch, and you know, triumphant. My kids both won a championship in our local area that year, and it was super rad, I thought. And but I went and I took every video down of when my kids got their first dirt bikes, or when they, you know, when my son went from a TTR 50 to a KTM 50, you know, or my oldest one got his first dirt bike, his KX65, and you know, I had all these great, you know, memories, and I went through and I removed all of them to try to get my comments back. And I went back to YouTube again. I said, hey man, I removed all videos featuring any of my children. Can I have my comments back? Well, they said no again. They said, unfortunately, blah, 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 blah. I have a screenshot of it somewhere, but it basically was them saying, sorry, you know, you can't have your comments back. So it's until they figure out what they need to do to prevent sexual predators from infiltrating YouTube and otherwise perverting such an awesome platform that we have here for their, you know, horrible uses. That's just how it's going to be. So the channel is just not going to have, and I know like the Deegan's, Brian Deegan's channel, his comments got turned off too, and he gets the same kind of comments that I get. You know, some people have tried to ridicule me and say that I just don't like constructive criticism, which could be further from the truth. I actually love criticism because I honestly do believe in constructive criticism. I do believe when someone does give you constructive criticism, meaning that they're trying to help you be better, not tear you down like a troll does, then that is the type of criticism I like. When they're like, hey, you could have done this different, you could have done this better. I am absolutely wanting to hear that because I want to learn as well as teach and show, and at the same time have fun with these things. So I don't know when they'll ever be back on. I'm going to keep pushing them. I'm going to keep prodding them, and I'm going to be noisy, and I'm not going to stop until they get turned back on. And that is that. But in any route, I'm not going to quit doing what I love, which is making videos for you guys and building some sweet dirt bikes that we can otherwise go pulverize and have fun with. So guys, that being said, that's kind of the air I wanted to clear. And I know that as this channel keeps growing, that question is going to be asked a lot more. But until YouTube figures out a way to deal with these sexual predators, a lot of your favorite channels that have children, their comments are going to remain off. Yes, I know inside a lot of you guys right now, you're thinking, yeah, but I watch this guy's channel and he has kids and their comments are still on. I agree 100%. But you know, I hope theirs stay on. I do not wish this against any other content creator because it is so horrible to have this part taken from you. And I miss talking with a lot of you guys. So I'm gonna cut it off here because I don't want to make a depressing video. You guys know we love just having fun over here, but I really wanted to open up and let you guys know the absolute truth of why the comments are off, because a lot of you guys have been asking. So heads off. I got a new gasket. I started to put on the new head. I'm like, wait, I gotta put on a new gasket, so I need to clean my deck and then put on a new gasket, put on our new head, which is gonna be pretty radical. So let's move on to that. Well, it's much darker out now. Had to take a brake ski for something, but I got the deck all cleaned up. We got a brand new gasket going on here. Yeah, check that out. Nice, clean. And our new Decomp head. God, guys, this is gonna make it so much easier kickstarting this thing. In the videos, you know, I had boots on, like when I did the ride and like burnout on this thing. I had boots on, and even kickstarting it with boots was just an act of God. I mean, it took a pretty serious leg, and even still, with a serious leg, yeah, I'm gonna be honest, it tingled a little bit. It tingled a little bit. So yeah, this is definitely going to make it a lot easier. I'll show you guys how it works here in a second. I got my nuts. I'm going to go look for some new ones though. So let me get this together and I'll show you guys how that auto decomp is going to work. All right, well, she's all installed. So the quick and dirty of it is, so this button now, push it in, which it is already. The compression of the engine, like as soon as it fires up, it's going to blow this thing out. And so now you'll see, now that's closed, now it's full compression, right? Yeah, push it in, ding. Now one hand, look at this. It feels by the kicker like kind of like a 250. I'll just say a 250, maybe even like a 250 that's due for a piston change. Like it's quite a bit easier. It's gonna make starting this thing way more easier, make it more enjoyable to ride. Just everything, right? It's gonna save on kickstarters, gonna save on the spindle. I've already cracked one spindle when it was in the last chassis, so this all together is just gonna help so much more. Got the new hardware in there, she's looking good. So now ready to mount that all back up and change all out the tire and the sprocket. Well, look at that. It's the next day. So last night I just continued to get this thing all together. You know, torque down the head, put the coolant back in it, blah 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 blah. Now we're on taking off the rear tire, and I already pulled the valve stem core. I'm curious though, how do you guys change tires? Now I know back before, I don't know, I would say back before I wanted to work on dirt bikes, I absolutely hated, more than anything, hated changing tires. Like, to me, taking it to a dealership to pay, I don't know, what is it? Like, I think it was like $25 or something like that. To pay $25 to have someone else change my tires was absolutely worth it. Now, you know, you wouldn't catch me dead taking a tire in to get it done, just because I feel like now it's so easy. Sure, tires that have been on longer are more difficult to get off, and you know, that's why I wanted to leave this tire on in the video where we did, you know, nice big old Greta Thunberg burnout with this 500.
How dare you!
Well, I knew that this tire was coming off, and even still, some of those treasure trolls on YouTube said he did all that work to that bike and didn't even change the rear tire. Like, come on, did you guys not even understand what I was doing? I wouldn't put on a brand new rear tire just to burn it off. Come on, guys, let's be real. So, right there. So I don't know what you guys do, but for myself, I break the bead all the way around on one side. Because you want to get, the whole goal of this is to get the center of the tire near the center of the rim, so it has more room to come off the bead. Same thing here. Break this side, bead, and you always need 3 tire irons. 3, right? 3 tire irons. This isn't the one that I wanted, but it's the one I'll use. I typically like spoons over irons, personally. That one, so I'll get this one in here now too, because you need 3. There's 1. Tight stretch. This tire is kind of old and brittle, as you can tell. 2, 3. So now with 3 done, you can take the middle one out, go to the next spot. Same thing, take the middle one out. You just keep walking it around like that. Middle one. That side is off. What I do is I flip it. I know a lot of you guys either do this, do it this way, and some of you do not. Same thing again. Just make sure that tire's in the middle. Start at the bead lock. Right there. So should be able just to get it with the, yeah. Got it. Now we can do that again. Like that. So I basically just push the wheel through the tire, and now I'll just lift out like that. Alright, we're going to start by putting our tube back inside of the tire before the tire goes on, because if you guys try to put the tube in after you've done one side of the tire, for some reason a lot of people that's where you'll get pinches. So I like to put in the tube first into the tire. And we're gonna put this thing back on. And I start with the bead lock first. Not everyone does that. It's just how your boy does it. There we go. What you need to make this easy, fast. If you use my link down below, my Rocky Mountain link, you can find yourself one of these. This is the Baja No Pinch tire tool. And this thing is worth every bit of money you can ever spend. This will pay you back 18 million fold on on tire changes, just because you won't pinch anymore, than just a simple bead lock. Okay. So my bead lock is started. So now I'm going to move you guys, and I'm going to spray this thing with a little bit of lube. Alright, so we use the blue axle piece. You align that. Okay, now spray some, this is just simple green and water, just to give it something to help the tire slide. That's how this thing works. It's like, has some gears on it, and this bar right here, you pull it, and it, like, just that simply puts the tire on. It's insane. I've had this thing for quite some time too, and I did break it at one time, and tell you what, the Baja No Pinch guys, they had me a replacement. Can't remember if it's I broke this gear, or I think I chipped some teeth on that, but they had me out a replacement like ASAP. So, but I've had it for like 4 or 5 years. Okay, back into view. Get through there. All right. Dang. That thing was not playing around, but we got it. So now I just start the nut on the stem a little bit. Like that. Now we're done with the bead tool. So unless you guys saw this in person, you wouldn't believe it. So I just hit a little simple green. You could use dish soap. You could even use WD-40. A lot of guys use WD-40. So in this though, here's my bead lock. I end at the bead lock. So I start the opposite end right there. I'm gonna need the bead lock, or you guys know what I mean. That. I can start walking the tire around. So you can see this does not scratch your rim at all. It's a lot less effort. I can take this out. I will need to move it at some point, so I'm going to keep it handy in my Yamasaki pocket. Okay, there's the bead lock. Okay, push this in. One more piece. That. You can air this thing up to 50 million. That's about 50 million. Beads all the way on that side. And we're all the way on that side. Cool. Tighten down the rim lock and set the pressure. I'm gonna go 13. And then we're changing the sprocket, putting this thing on. So guys, one thing I really want to mention, changing the sprocket out. Your old bolts, don't reuse them. Like, I've seen hubs destroyed, I've seen people crash really freaking hard, Tyler Antignap being one of them. Obviously a good buddy of mine, right? It is absolutely important that you trash these. Do not hang on to them. Every time you do a sprocket, order a packet of bolts. I typically use the ones from the bolt kit, but I used them. But I did, luckily I had these ones laying around. But throw these away. When you order a sprocket, just order, they're literally like $8 to $10 at the most. It is security. It is making sure that it'll keep your hub from ovalizing, because these things stretch and then you'll actually ovalize these holes. OEM hubs, aftermarket hubs, they all get trashed. ordered new sprocket bolts. Please just do it. Take it from me. I've learned the hard way. I shattered a hub on a, this was eons ago, probably about 2 decades ago, but it was a 2002 KX250, and this was like in 05 or 06, or maybe the bike was like brand new to me. And I had 3 sprocket bolts left, and the others had sheared, and it crunched the whole hub. Just from holding on with 3 sprocket bolts, because the others were loose and they sheared. These ones, as soon as it was down to 1, I mean, it broke the whole ear off the hub. And yes, that was a long time ago with a lot less experienced Lendemex, but still, I'm telling you guys, just replace them. Really excited to get this thing on here. Thank you to the boys over at Dirt Tricks for making one of the most awesome sprockets ever, for one, and for 2, for hooking up the Yamasaki, making this bike just as badass as we possibly can, right? Just so we can go rub it in the dirt and have fun. I'm gonna put that away before I have an accident. Look at that. Oh my god, it looks better outside of the clear wrapping. I don't know how that works. Throw that away. Oh, hear the angels sing. New sprocket bolts. And you do not need to buy or put a thread locker on them, because they already have factory installed thread locker in the red flavor. Put these in my Yamasaki pocket. Starting to get a bit of tools in there. Alright, we're gonna get this sprocket on, torque down. You guys don't need to watch that. And then we'll put it on and fire the bike up. Y'all want to see my video? beautiful. Violent. I love it. At the same time, I love this thing. So excited with how this thing came out, from front end to rear end, guys. I'm just so pleased with how this bike is just pieced together. I think from here moving forward, I mean, I'll just do little things like replace the foot pegs with something better. I know I want to just clean up some of the little edges. I still need to make a pipe mount for the front pipe where it meets the chassis. I need to make a soft mount there. But other than that, guys, it's 100% right now. It's ready. Need to figure out something to do with that big mess I left underneath the rear fender from the last burnout. I've had some suggestions. I've used acetone, I've used WD-40, I've used heat, I've used everything that you guys have told me, alcohol, paint thinner. So guys, I'm really excited for the future and what we're gonna do with this thing. Although I will be 100% honest with you guys, it's unclear what I want to do with this. I really just kind of wanted to build it. But now that it's done, I really don't know where to go from here with it, because it's not going to be that amazing of a track bike. It has a ton of power, a great chassis, great suspension, so it would be a fun motocross bike. But beyond that, it would be horrible on trails, and let's be honest, like, it's really not good for much else than wide open, you know, all over the throttle type riding. So having said that, you know, this might be just a fun and around for special events and doing promo stuff with the YouTube videos and stuff like that, just because it is so gnarly. But that's great, because that's what I wanted to build it for. So I hope today's video filled you guys in on a lot, although it's, you know, I understand the whole YouTube comment thing, it sucks. But just as you've, you know, heard from me say today, so after this video is posted, you'll see me put up another post, not a video, just a post where you can comment on this video, make your voices heard. But guys, so what is the future? What is coming on the channel? Well, we still have our 2005 KX250, the factory replica bike. It's going to be our interpretation of what we felt like if two-stroke 250s were still a thing being raced today. And then probably next is going to be our Wounded Unicorn, the 91 yx500. I have still parts coming in. That's a crank bearing and seal kit, whole gasket kit. I have a new piston over there, so we're going to go through and freshen up this engine 100%, and then take it down to the frame, get rid of this horrible white paint, and you know, put it back to green. So a lot of cool stuff to come with that. And then also, you guys saw in the last video, and it's definitely kicked up some dust, but the GPX 450R, FSC 450R, got a lot of great things coming with that too. Some fun rides. Really going to stretch the boundaries of what you can do on this thing. So having said that, guys, I love every single one of you guys. And I definitely look forward to putting through more videos on the Yamasaki with you guys, because that bike is seriously going to be a blast. But like I was saying, it's going to end it. Nice 40-minute long video for you guys. Hopefully give you something to watch. Yeah, love you guys. I will talk to you very, very soon. That's a promise. Peace out. Check out the Teespring. Use the Rocky Mountain link down below. Save you guys some money. Help the channel out. And we will talk to you guys on the next video. Peace out.